She missed the top. You put 95 kilograms on the top of a 4-meter pole. You need to make sure everybody's holding that rope tight.
But nobody was paying attention.
Come on, guys! Come on! Hold it, hold it, hold it!
The Photonis Ultimate Forces Challenge, an annual extreme endurance competition for athletes from across the globe. On the Indonesian island of Bali, 42 elite athletes push the limits of teamwork, tactics, and pure physical strength to prove who's the fittest of them all. In the last episode, the UFC team's collaborative skills were put to the test. Underwater. The weather, however, had a mind of its own, resulting in insurmountable consequences.
The weather is not our friend, and the current is getting stronger and stronger. For now, we stop.
Team Orange of the Netherlands hit a psychological block. Combined with their own internal struggles, the team made the unprecedented decision to pull out of the competition entirely.
I just couldn't breathe. It was just my breath.
They couldn't hack it. They're not as tough as we are.
The remaining 5 teams continued to battle, this time by running several excruciating laps through the steamy Balinese jungle, each lap with its own, let's say, special assignment. Here too, the rainy weather heavily influenced the conditions. The hardest fall to date went to Sander from Team Belgium.
Keep on running, the show must go on.
After dominating the first 2 events, Team South Africa sit atop the pack, ahead of the second-place teams, Australia and the USA. Team Belgium has a secure grasp on 4th place, while Team Canada languishes at the bottom. But it's still early days, and everything can change, except, it seems, the appalling weather. After making an impressive jump from 5th to 2nd place in the challenge, Team Australia has turned to a higher power for support.
Brought our little mascots, the little koalas, drop bears, as some people know them from around the world, but yeah, very, very much an Australian icon. A little passenger along the way to help us through the tough times.
I think we're ready for the next challenge, especially if it doesn't keep raining. That would be great. It seems to be drying up nicely. A lot easier to go a little faster, maybe. Don't have to worry about slipping down as much.
Some kind of a climb, that's all we know. So we don't know much more than that. So yeah, I'll have to see the debrief and see how it goes on how to plan. But we've got a lot of upper body strength on our team, so I think we can do quite well with that one.
In today's challenge, the teams must run 3 kilometres, overcoming extreme obstacles along the way, chin-ups, carrying sandbags, and at the end of the trail, figuring out a way to scale a slippery bamboo pole.
There's 4 sandbags out of the 6 of us.
You had to run through a little trail and then get up to a chin-up bar.
Collectively, each team will have to complete 60 chin-ups.
After finishing the chin-ups, you run back and you have to hold up the bamboo stick, and every team member has to touch the top.
And this might seem easy, but after 60 chin-ups, it's a completely different story.
The pole's not secure to anything. There's 4 ropes off the top. It's 4 meters off the ground. Every single team member has to climb up the pole, touch the top, with the team supporting the pole.
Climbing a slippery pole is hard enough, but they also have to find a way to keeping the pole upright. Each individual team member must reach the top. And as clever as these teams are they clever enough to work this one out?
Meanwhile, back at base camp, some athletes are discovering their own unique rituals for preparation.
Wayne, you're so good at this.
Come on.
What's that leg? What's that? What's this? What are you doing, man?
It's down. The straight is going down. It's not going like this. We hold them in position. If it's not stable, make a bridge or a pyramid behind or beside. And then
Let's see how this strategy plays out in reality. First up, Team Belgium.
2, 1, go!
Because Sander was injured, he started without the bag, and I'm the best runner, so I was starting also without the bag.
How was it gone with the ankle? How was he running? Did what?
No, he's hobbling. He must
so.
just run slowly, get there and get back.
Yeah.
And
Eva, an excellent runner, reaches the chin-up bar first. Each team had to complete 60 in total, but how they divided the work was completely up to them.
I did as many as I could because we knew I was not going to do the most of it.
He took the bags.
Papa.
Papa?
Papa took a bag.
Papa took a bag.
By Papa, Team South Africa is referring to Bart. Whilst one of the competition's oldest competitors, this Belgian firefighter is rock solid.
Eva run, and we could do it with 4, 3 guys and 1 girl.
10.
The sandbags subtly strip away at all your strength, making chin-ups that much harder. But it doesn't seem to affect the Belgians.
17.
Somebody ready?
18. 19.
This one guy is a fighter, cage fighter, and he's very strong in his arms. He said, I can do a 40 if you want.
30.
30 down, 30 to go. But cage fighter Rudy doesn't have to do it all alone.
31. 32. 33. 34. 35.
The other girl is also a very good fitness girl, maybe 15, 20 times for a girl, good. So that was our tactic.
As Eva lugs the sandbag over the finish line, Rudy is finishing the last of the chin-ups.
6. 7. 58. 59.
With all 60 chin-ups out of the way, it's a straight shot to the arena, where a 4-metre bamboo pole awaits them.
The plan was that I got a second bag, but it wasn't even necessary because they were already there. So I only have to push them so you can run faster.
With the team together, it's now time to test their chosen strategy. The assignment is simple. In theory, position the pole vertically so each member can climb and touch the top. The best way to do it? Well, that's for each team to decide.
You have to think about certain things. When you get a briefing of something, you have to make a plan and stick to that plan and go for it.
After excelling in the strength section of the challenge, they must now perform a balancing act, quite literally. Building some kind of human pyramid seems to be an effective way of reaching the top, but it costs an awful lot of energy, and in a race where everyone is suffering, the pain is visible. As the last team member reaches the top, the Belgians set the time to beat. They'll have to wait a while to see if it's enough to climb the overall standings.
Dedication! Friendship! Belgium first!
I think we can make it to 3rd place. Maybe not the first one, but we are slowly going in front, so we are coming.
The Australians are up next, and like Team Belgium with Sanders' ankle, they have their own Achilles heel to deal with.
When we did the obstacle course the day before, Adam actually twinged his hamstring, so that's been a big disadvantage for us. He's a strong guy, but he can't run properly, so we've had to adapt that into our tactics.
The team appoint Adam as their strongman, almost solely responsible for the chin-ups. It's the only real plausible option for someone still smarting an injury. They quickly hatch a strategy for scaling the pole.
Decide we're going to tie a few knots. Chief knot tire, he's on the job. So strategy is set. That was all of our strategy.
3, 2, 1, go!
Despite his injury, Adam immediately decides to carry a sandbag. This plan could come back to haunt him. Team Australia set out in an impressive pace. But all the time won is lost again when they realise Adam's role is a strategic error.
Muscle man, who does a few chin-ups, well, he was a little bit slow getting there, and so we all thought we'd have a go at the chin-ups to help out, like spread the love, but we shouldn't have. We should have just left 2 people there doing the chin-ups and everyone else should have gone back and...
8. Full stretch of the arms, otherwise it won't count. 9. 10.
Injured strongman Adam, lagging behind, finally arrives at the chin-up station and gets to work. But instead of running ahead and carrying the sandbags over the finish line, the team decide to stay together and wait their turns.
Who's next? Get him up! Next!
It's a cohesive group effort, but it costs the Aussies precious time.
Otherwise it won't count. Come on.
Chin-up slowed us down in that one. Pole exercise wasn't as bad as we thought.
They're all there.
Go! They're all gone. 58.
They're gone.
59.
Next
60.
go.
Go back.
Go back,
When they reach the bamboo pole, they calmly collect themselves and tackle the challenge impressively as a team again.
Tuck in, get her up. Come on, hold it. Grab a right, a spare right. One right.
Okay, up together. Let's go. Ready?
Because we used the help of other teammates, the knots didn't come into play as much as what we probably would have if we didn't have that extra assistance.
Adam also reaches the top. One more to go, and then the challenge for Team Australia is complete.
All in the excitement of it, didn't need the knots. All got up there, touched the top.
It was one of those things we thought about, yeah, all tactics.
As Team Australia celebrate, the South Africans, hardcore as ever, prepare for their race. Well, at least they try. Strength is never a problem for Team South Africa, but in this challenge, Terence is worried about something else.
If at any time our weight's going to count against us, is today. That's the biggest challenge that we're anticipating for this challenge.
The game plan seems fairly simple.
We put our 3 strongest team members on the chin-ups because they threw in a surprise with the obstacle in that we had to carry sandbags. They never told us in the briefing we had to carry sandbags.
Victor and Celeste are the first to reach the chin-up bar and immediately get to work, all part of the tactics.
We put our 3 strongest chin-ups on the bar, which is also our 3 lightest team members in Victor, Celeste and Diane.
22.
The team realises it makes no sense to wait around as a group, so Terence sets off with the sandbags.
We need to get past.
A very smart decision.
Go back.
This tactic means sandbags won't hold back the entire group. More importantly, Terence, Dwayne and Dina can get a head start on strategising the pole challenge.
The pole is an unknown for us because we're heavy. We're a big team.
Let's go.
You put 95 kilograms on the top of a 4-meter pole. You need to make sure everybody's holding that rope tight.
With the team assembled again, they begin the last leg of their challenge.
We planned on Dwayne lifting 3 people up.
I'm on the pole.
Me lifting 3 people up, so literally standing on our shoulders, standing up.
Okay. Hang on. No. Stop it on your toes.
We thought that would be quicker than trying to climb up the pole, take as much weight off the pole as possible and use our strength to our advantage.
Go!
Their approach is completely different from the other teams. It appears less effective and a whole lot slower.
Come on, babe. Yes! Right. Diane, Dina, swap it da.
Wait.
Come on, babe. Come on. Everybody good?
Just help with the lift.
Our weight acts against us at the top of the pole, so if we keep the weight off the pole and on our individuals, we should come out top again.
But only time will tell if that's really the case. For the time being, let's just keep everyone safe.
We finished the competition and we put the ball down and we walked away. And the ball came down and hit him on the head. But nobody was paying attention.
Fortunately, Victor is okay.
That is 2 plan, boys. 2 plan.
With 3 teams finished, 2 Northern Hemisphere rivals remain, Canada and the USA.
Guys, how are we doing?
Doing well.
You've got your information on the next challenge. How do you feel?
Good.
Prepared.
Yeah? Yeah, you have tactics?
We have tactics. We have a good plan. We've worked it out. And
Thinking outside the box a little bit.
Oh, really? How? Can you tell me anything?
This is a surprise.
You know I'm good at keeping surprises.
Nope. You're just gonna have to wait.
I'm gonna have
It's
to
like
wait,
an SP. You're just gonna have to take.
What is it? What can you give me just a little insight on what it is?
I think before we've been focusing on sticking together as a team for every event, and now we're going to focus on each other's strengths and weaknesses more so on this. So
Beautiful. So you are thinking outside the box. You're changing everything around.
Yeah.
Last thing wasn't working for you.
Yeah.
It was working. I had fun.
Yeah, it was fun,
Yeah.
but it wasn't working. So yeah.
Yeah. Strategically it wasn't working, so mix everything up.
Yeah. We got 4th, but we're still 5th overall. We just knew we had to keep trying harder and pushing ourselves harder. We gotta really kick it up a gear if we're gonna stay in it.
3, 2, 1, go!
With both height and strength, this challenge may be just what Team Canada needs to climb out of the basement.
We knew a couple people on our team. Chin-ups definitely are a weak point, so we used them to carry the sandbags, while the 3 stronger people for chin-ups went ahead and just focused on the chin-ups.
And Matt seems to be a natural.
5, 6, 7.
Just like Team South Africa, the Canadians power through the chin-up exercise with apparent ease.
Our strategy was just to do as many as you can, kind of without burning yourself, so we rotated with 3 different people, and we just always wanted to have one person in the queue, so as soon as you dropped, you'd have the next person jump up.
And like the South Africans, Team Canada send the sandbag carriers up ahead.
23, 24, 25, 26,
But suddenly, they are about-faced on their strategy.
7.
Despite the careful planning, Matt realises his task at the bamboo pole is a no-go.
After doing the pull-ups, I was like, no, I can't have everyone stand on my shoulders as well, so I decided to drop down and people would step on my back to get onto Brooke's back.
Team Canada behind. They're currently in 5th position and are desperate for a win. They've told us earlier on they're going to change the tactics. They're going to work on individual strengths and weaknesses, and this is exactly what they're doing. Will it pay off? We don't know. We're about to find out.
For now, it seems like it's going okay, but the chin-ups take a serious toll on the biceps. And they're done.
Good? Yeah. You all right? You guys good?
The other activities before it made it pretty difficult, so. Yeah, well, apparently I need to train better. Looks are deceiving, I guess.
The last team up is Team USA.
If I have to pick a country, those are our rivals. We want to beat them. We want to beat Canada. And you know, there's always that animosity between the two of us, and it continues with UFC. We get along out of the competition, but when it's game time, there's no friends. We want to win.
Go!
And to do so, Team USA came up with its own game plan.
We knew that the guys were quite strong with the pull-ups, so we said, okay, you guys just run ahead, we'll catch up. We carried the sandbags, met up to them. As I run up, Kyle's just firing off the pull-up after pull-up.
5.
Yeah.
6, 7.
Irene did a few, Kim did a couple, and then I did a few.
But worryingly, overextending themselves now could come back to bite them once they reach the bamboo pole.
Not used to doing a full extension. I can do a lot, but it was all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. Long story short, I didn't pull off as many as I could back home to the technique we used.
Team USA, they're setting off doing their chins now. They've got to do 16 completion. South Africa have already been and they've set the platform very high. They're going to be extremely hard to beat. These guys are in 2nd place and really need to win.
All right, come on.
Even at this stage in the race, anything can happen, especially with a slippery bamboo pole up ahead.
So we finished off the pull-ups in pretty good time and we were just sprinting back. Definitely didn't feel like hoisting a pole and climbing to the top. I was feeling pretty gassed at that time. The good thing was everybody else was pulling their weight and helping it through, so Rodney was definitely our biggest asset in that event.
Come on, guys, hold it together.
He's about 6'4", He hoisted us up and we jumped onto the bamboo, and then maybe it was like 2 pulls and then tapped the top.
USA are doing so well, even the South Africans are starting to worry.
Tom?
She missed the top.
Oh, so frustrating. I was so mad. I thought I just nailed it too. I was super quick jumping up onto the pole. I was like, boom, boom, touched the top, like jumped back off, and I was like, awesome. That was like seconds. We were just doing so good with our time. And then the judge says, no, you just touched the rope. You didn't touch the top. So I was like, literally an inch difference. I could have, I just wasn't thinking clearly.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna definitely throw some extra time on here.
With everything she has left, Stephanie has one more try. And succeeds. Team USA finished the job. Now it's just a matter of waiting and finding out what are the consequences of that little slip-up.
That was kind of a miscommunication. But whatever. We'll make it up.
The third challenge of the UFC is nail-bitingly close, and no one is claiming victory quite yet. Tension rises, especially between the two North American rivals.
Third place, Team Canada.
Team Canada end up third, only 1 second ahead of Team USA, who secure second place.
We were pretty pumped. We're fast. We had a lot of endurance in our running and our sprinting, and that I think that saved us. So happy with that.
And the winner of this challenge? It's Team South Africa. They've outsmarted the competition once again. In this leg, only 16 seconds separates the top 3 teams, which is a Photonis Ultimate Forces Challenge record. It's also showing just how competitive this year's competition is.
South Africa got 6:05 roughly with 5 seconds, and we were 15 seconds slower than them. So if I only had to climb once, we might have been able to crush them in that challenge.
While South Africa remain dominant, the third stage offers a couple of important subtle shifts. Team USA have moved up to second position, while Australia and Belgium now share third spot. Canada is still in last place, but another elimination round moves ever closer. You can see their confidence growing.
I didn't ask what my overall ranking was. If we can just keep it at that last event, we're happy with that. So third, yeah!
As this competition progresses, our teams are going to find it harder and harder. Both physically and mentally, they have to be switched on for every single game.
Then I fall.
We'll listen to the challenge, we'll make a strategy. If I can participate, I will. If not, then I can only do just enough to survive.
A bit heavier than I thought it would be, eh? I thought a couple of pieces of bamboo can't be that tough.
Guys, talk. What's in front of us?
Once you are in the middle of it, tactics soon change. There was no tactic. Once we were in it, we were just winging it.
You're gonna listen to me, okay? Until I say do something.
Brace yourself for the next episode of the Photonis Ultimate Forces Challenge.